Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And in this video, we're going to review how to keep track of your results when doing velocity banking. Now, I know some of you are really scared and you want to do it, but you're like, well, how do I know if it's actually working? Well, the easiest way to keep track of how you're doing is just create a spreadsheet to track your results, right? So you either use Microsoft Excel or Google Sheets or whatever. And if you don't have the desktop version of Microsoft Excel, you could get the free version at live.com. So you can see here, I keep track of my results. So from January 2023, I borrowed $112,000 in credit cards and lines of credit debt. And all the way up to here, I keep track of the sum of all the statement balances, and we can see how much was paid off. So after about 9 months, I paid off $52,000 of debt, and I only paid about $5,000, $5,600 in interest, which I think is pretty good, right? I know people pay, like 12, $20,000 in interest in like the first year of the mortgage. I borrowed $112,000 and I only paid $5,000 in interest, right? And so this is kind of like your summary. So you kind of need like two tabs. So one's like your summary, and then second is like the actual data. So like every single time a new statement comes out, whether it's your credit card or your line of credit, you all you need really is the statement balance and the interest payment. And also you could keep track of your minimum payment and also what they call the cash flow index. Now, I'm not gonna go too much into cash flow index, but all it is a measure of like what loans you should pay off first and what debts or credit cards you should pay off first. And if you want more information, I just Google Garrett Gunderson and cash flow index. Okay, so now, as you can see, I kept track of all the January debts and then February debts, and then you just sum them all up, and then once you sum them all up, then that's going to be the basis of your summary report right here. So if you want to see how to do it from scratch, it's relatively easy. So what you got to do is just create a new sheet. Start off with a new sheet, and then you could call it like velocity banking summary, right? Velocity banking summary. So let's go ahead and move that. And if we want to just kind of peek here, what do we need? We need to take the sum of the statement balance and the sum of the interest payment for that month. So let's just assume we're just going to do January 2023, right? January 2023, right? And then we're going to say sum of statement balance. And then all we need to do is just do this once a week. Just gather all of our credit card statements for maybe like the previous month. So today's like February the 1st, right? Then we look at all of January's line of credit or credit card statements, right? Okay. And then what we just need two columns. So what we need is the sum of interest paid. Okay. Now, it may be really low because you might have recently gotten a new credit card or new credit card offers. And I think for 12 months, they give you 0% interest. And then once that 12-month period is ended, then it's like, bam, it goes to like 20 to 30% interest, right? Okay, so now, again, we have the velocity banking summary, and then we need the actual data, right? So I'll just call this line of credit statement balances, or you could name it whatever you want, just as long as it makes sense, right? And all you have to do, right? All you have to do is just keep a track of a few things. So statement date, because you want to know, whether it's for this month or last month, right? The statement balance, and then the interest paid. Right. And then also you could keep track of like the minimum monthly payment, although it's not necessary. We're gonna make this really simple, and let's go ahead and format this. So we're gonna bold it, we're gonna underline it. We click this underline border right here, and then we highlight it, make it look a little bit spiffy. Okay, so I'm just gonna make this really simple, and we're just gonna enter in two statements one from a HELOC and one from a credit card. Okay, so this is a HELOC statement that I copied from this year. And as you can see, the line of credit that's available is 51,000 to use, right? And then we just kind of see, oh, the minimum payment due is 148.11. Okay, you see that this is for January. The closing date is 126 and 34 days in a billing cycle. Interesting. Okay, so now it's like we ignore this one because that's the previous month's balance. But we're interested in is the new balance, because that's the balance for the end of that month, right? So now we just copy this. So 41,236.36, right? So 41 236.36. Okay. And also, we probably want to do a little bit of formatting as well. So if you never know how to do formatting, what you do is you highlight the cells that you want to format. If you're on Windows, you kind of click the right click button, and then there's like a number formatting right here, right? Or I think you could just do this one too. You could just do this one. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so now you can see that now it's formatted correctly. So here we have 41,000, okay? And then we also want the interest charges. So sometimes it may be called a little bit different, right? It's called periodic finance charges. Now I think I was like the 0.99% introductory period of this HELOC. So I borrowed 41,000. All I did is pay $33 in interest. I need to get that again. That's amazing. Okay, so now well, let's take a look at statement date. So when did we when did that statement come out? 1/26/2023, or at least that's the billing closing date. We'll just use that as the statement date. So what we do is just put that date in. So 1/26/2023, right? So we know it's for January, and then we just do that for all the bills. Pretend it's February 1st right now. So all the bills for the statement should have come out last month. And then now we're going to do another one here. So we have a credit card, okay? So here it's 1/24. That's the last date. So we could put 1/25 as the statement date right here, okay? So what we do is just put 1/25/2023. And what's the statement balance? So we don't care about the previous balance, but the new balance right here, that's the statement balance, is 14,351.60. So we're going to put that in, right? So all it is just a game of copy and paste. 14,345.60. Okay. So is that right? I hope I copied it right. 14,351. 35. I copied it totally wrong. So always check your work. 351.60. And how much interest did we pay on that? We paid $31.40 on interest. So isn't this kind of amazing? Because like, you know, on a credit card, I borrowed 14 grand and I paid $31 in interest, but in the HELOC, I borrowed 41 grand and I only paid $33 interest. So, that those introductory rates, especially on the HELOC, are amazing. Borrow 41 grand and only pay $33. Okay, so now let's assume that these are your only two debts that you have, right? So what you want to do is, just make sure that you summarize or you sum all the statement balances on the interest paid. And you could do this different ways. You could actually use formulas, or you could just, do a copy and paste and sum it right there. But let's just do this. Let's use actual formulas. So what we notice is that the statement balance for January is goes from just 2 to 3. And so if you had more credit lines, then just include all of them. Let's say you might have had like 5, then it would be like 2 to 6, right? Or is that 5? I don't know. I can't count. But for here, we only have 2 credit lines. So what we do is only sum up 2 and 3. And in order to do that, right? What we do is we just take, actually, you know what? I'm so bad at this. I have no idea how to reference the other sheet because I'm totally bad at it. But again, so if you don't know, if you're a noob Excel like I am, what I do is I just kind of do equals sum, right? And then it kind of auto does it for you, but let me just do it manually. What you do is you take the first cell that you want to sum B2, you put a colon, and then you take the last cell that you want to sum. So I want to sum up B3, right? And then so now we have 58,587.96 as the statement balance for January, okay? So statement balance for January. And now this is giving me an error. So what we can do is we can just, because it's looking for a reference, but the reference isn't there because we're pasting another sheet. Just go ahead and paste the values and not the formula. Oh, you know what? And I have to format this correctly as well. So again, sometimes there's a little bit of back and forth you got to do. And again, I'm not the best person in Excel, but let me just do this. Number format. I do currency, and then I click OK, and now it's going to be formatted correctly. And then again, I just delete this. But if I want to just kind of do the calculation here, again, you can also use the sum button right here, auto sum, right? So sum C2, C4, 6497. I just copy, I do Control C, right? And then I do paste. So it's going to have that error. But if I want to just paste not the formula, but only the numbers, you just do this one, right? Paste values. and now it's 64.97, right? Okay. And then you just do the same thing over and over again. So if I'm gonna, maybe it's March right now. So what I do is I just put a 2, right? And then I put a 2 there. And again, we just look at our statements. I don't have the next month statements, but you just kind of make it up, right? So I'll just say maybe it's $30,000, okay? And then maybe it's I don't know, $28 in interest, and then I paid out. Let's presume it's like $10,000, and then I don't know, $25 in interest. And again, you just sum it up, or you could just kind of you just do this. So equals B4. I'm sorry, sum of B4 colon B5, right? And then they'll show you. And if you just do the basic math, it's $40,000. And you can copy and paste formulas too, right? So it will just kind of reference it's kind of reference the same cells, but a different column. And then you just copy and paste. So maybe you want to do the February numbers, right? So this will be February of 2023, right? And then you just copy and paste these numbers. So what we do is just copy this and then paste here. Again, it's going to say ref because it's referencing the formula. You just click paste values, and ooh, that looks ugly. I got to make that into a currency format, and boom, that's it, right? That's it. So let me just delete this. Okay, so now what we want to do is when we're we want to keep track of our numbers. We want to keep track of the total interest paid and the paid off balance. So you kind of have to do this manually, but let me just go ahead and copy this. Uh, so paid off balance, and then total sum of interest paid, right? And so what you can do for the paid off balance, you have to do a manual formula of the first month you want to keep track as like the month that maybe you accrue debt or the beginning of the year. So equals B2. So that's the first month, and then subtract the last month's statement balance. So if we're in August right now, then it would be like January minus August. But since February is like the last statement date here, we just do that and say, oh, I paid off 15,000 in 1 month, which is really impressive. And then here, I don't want to call this the sum of interest paid. It's a little bit, I'll just say interest paid. And then the total sum of the interest paid, again, you just sum up everything in this column, and you could just do this right here. Do auto sum. Oh, this is screwing up. Okay, I'm sorry. So equals C sum parentheses C2 to whatever the last entry is, which is C3 here. And then you could see, oh, this year I paid off $15,000 of debt, and I had to pay $117 of interest to the bank, which is really good, right? It's really good. Usually, if the credit cards or line of credits have gone out of their full, I'm sorry, the 0% period, I just from the top of my head, if I was like borrowing $10,000, I think I was paying like $200 in interest or 300 or something like that, right? So if this is all you had to pay for 15,000, paying off 50,000, and you borrowed maybe 50 to 40,000, again, that's pretty good. But that's how you keep track of your numbers, and that's what I do, right? So every single month I put in all the details, and then here I subtract the first month that I count as my base month, subtract it from the last month, and then here I sum up everything. So you see C2 to C10 and see how much I paid. And so, I think I've been doing really well. And that's why I feel comfortable teaching the velocity banking strategy. And so if you don't feel comfortable and you kind of want to feel like, does this work or not, or get a feel for it for a couple of months, again, put your paycheck to the line of credit in your operating account, take off your expenses, and see are these statement balances going down? And if they're not, why not? Right? Is it because you're negative cash flowing? Right? So we gotta kind of plug the leaks and figure out what's our negative cash flow coming from. Okay. Or maybe we do have to reduce our expenses. I've talked to people out there who say, I bought a new Jeep and the Jeep is like 40 grand. It's like, why don't you buy a Toyota? you know, but that's what they're doing. And so kind of got to plug the holes from the bucket and make sure that, we're in positive cash flow. And here's the thing, I've actually been in negative cash flow. You can take a look here. You take a look at this month. It actually goes up, then it goes down. Oopsie. So then it goes down and then it goes up again, and then it goes up again, right? Now, there's a reason for the negative cash flow, but I'm just saying, even when I had negative cash flow, I slept well at night just because I knew that with the velocity banking strategy, it's going to help me also get through the tough times, right? That's just for me. It may not work for you, but it worked for me. All right. So this is Korean Atlanta Mentorship. If you have any questions, comments, even below, and I will speak to you next time. And also, if you're interested in joining our group, go ahead and click the Google form link below, and you could also email us by finding out our email address in the About section of the YouTube page. Have a great day, everybody. We will speak next time.